You want to know what really pisses me off? Inconsistencies with the Steam Deck verification list. So it ain't perfect, but let's get this out of the way first. Very few things in life are perfect. I don't really have as much of an issue with the entire verification system as much as I do with the entire verification testing methodology Valve seems to employ. For a full list of Valve's own verification requirements, you should check out Valve's own website in the description below. You done reading it yet? Alright, now we can continue with the rest of the video. There's a couple of criteria here. You've got controller support, controller glyphs, text input, resolution support, default configuration, text legibility, no device compatibility warnings, and launcher issues. So my main issue here is threefold. The first of my main issues is that some verified games seem to be very, well, how do I say this? Very unstable for whatever reason.
Horizon Zero Dawn is a verified title on the Steam Deck. And man, I was blown away. I think I'm running at medium 800p. The first 5 hours of the game though, solid 30 FPS, great experience. After about 5 hours in, I started getting all manner of weird issues. Because at first, I started running into these issues like after 2 continuous hours of gameplay, where I would get stuttering down to like 1 FPS.
Yikes.
For 10, 30 seconds at a time. And then it would like I saw game crashes, just hard crash back to Steam interface. I even saw black screen, device unresponsive, Steam button does nothing, quick access menu does nothing, long press power button, full reboot is the only way to solve it. And the problem for me is that those, as I got into the late game, started to come up every 20 minutes or so, which is pretty bad. Everything from worse stutters to completely game-breaking, like progress-losing issues.
That said, there's nothing in Steam Deck Verified that mentions anything about game stability, as in, well, the game itself being stable, other than it's gotta be compatible with Proton sort of deal, you know what I'm saying? This brings us to my next point. The whole unsupported thing is kind of nebulous at best. There is a whole genre of YouTube videos just dedicated to people showing other people that you can run these unsupported games on Steam Deck, and in some cases it works really well, almost perfectly even. Which begs the question, why was this game marked as unsupported? VR games and games with anti-cheat get the benefit of being marked as unsupported for a specific reason. But games with neither of these things are marked as unsupported without a real reason as to why, other than the fact that Valve is working on making this game work on Steam Deck. I like Valve's transparency. They've been very transparent about the Steam Deck from the beginning, I would say. My hope is that Valve can be a little more transparent as to why, even if the average user may not understand why it's not working. Just a specific reason as to why parts of the game aren't working. You know, stuff like cutscenes being broken, or perhaps a minigame crashing the whole game. You know, stuff like that. I think that Valve should just make a 5th categorization for these sort of games. Label them as unstable. So the characteristics of an unstable game is that it's not unsupported, yet Valve is still working on making these games work properly on Steam Deck. There, Valve could list game-breaking issues that the game has currently, but then you have games that are marked as unsupported for no discernible reason, at least to us anyways. Ender Lilies, Quietest of the Nights. It's absolutely worth mentioning that Ender Lilies has a native Linux version, but for whatever reason, Valve decided to test the Windows version. You can see all of this and more in the SteamDB page for Ender Lilies. It calls into question Valve's own testing methodology, and quite frankly, I couldn't tell you how they're doing this, or why they're doing it this way. Anyways, let's move on. The last thing I need to talk about are games with miscellaneous notes, some of which are very, very important miscellaneous notes. So more often than not, games with verification ratings will also have miscellaneous notes that don't really affect the game's own verification rating, like Dark Souls 3 here. Dark Souls 3 is a Steam Deck verified game, But as you can see here, there are 2 notes below all of those check marks. The first of which is this game does not support cross-platform saved games, meaning there's no cloud saves in this game. This potentially could cause issues if you were to frequently switch between your Steam Deck and your PC. You'd have to figure out another way to transfer all of your save data. Also below that is a note about controller order. This game does not default to external Bluetooth/USB controllers on deck, and may require manually switching the active controller via the quick access menu. Basically, you need to go into the quick access menu to change the controller port order. Make your USB or Bluetooth controller player 1, and Dark Souls will default to using that controller. Not a major game-breaking issue, but it is pretty annoying, and it's good that Valve are letting people know this ahead of time. And those are examples that are, well, I would say they're pretty minor in comparison to, say, some of the other things. Like always online DRM. I've already made my thoughts known about DRM. I think it sucks. If you want to hear more about why I don't like DRM, you should check out my rant video. Links in the description below. Always online DRM for a portable device. Portable device. Let me say it one more time. Portable device. You take it outside of your house. It's handheld. You can play this basically anywhere. And yet some games force you to be online. And I'm not talking multiplayer games. I'm talking single player games. That should be grounds for making a game not verified. And thankfully, there aren't a whole lot of verified games with this online DRM crap. That said, if you're looking to hire some more QA testers that are willing to work from home, I mean, I'm down, Valve. I know how to write proper bug reports and how to reproduce them. Yeah, I've also beta tested a couple of games too, and I've given developers feedback on what should and shouldn't be done. Both in regards to, you know, game stability, game bugs, as well as my opinions on the gameplay itself.